All right, welcome everyone. Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Orb on the Movements of the Earth, episode 17. We got a new character to follow, Schmidt. And he does know his Schmidt. Okay. So, yeah, that was bad. That was bad. But he has been, openly going against the church, which is something that we haven't really seen before in this show. Because, usually people get burned when they do that.
Yeah, things don't go well for them. We see that he's not only competent, he's kind of posing as an inquisitor. He's moving around with competence. He's seeking for a book that the leader of his organization, that he's kind of also like a bit of an extremist within their group for, is needing it. They also know the names Oxy and Bodney, which means they're most likely tied to or just are Yolenta, which is fun. I'm very excited to get to know this organization as a whole, the Heretic Liberation Front. That sounds fun. But then, also it seems Novak is here as well.
And we have to double back to actually get that book because we totally left it in an abandoned town. Because while we can fight a few church dudes, we don't want to do that if we don't have to.
Right, and also we haven't really shown our characters actually fighting at all. The only time they actually fought was by using a bomb.
That's true. That is a good
blow
point.
Away a bunch of them. So we don't know how good they are actually at the whole fighting thing yet.
Right. Best rule of fighting is don't get into a fight.
Yeah, exactly. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. I can make a lot of money with this book, maybe. What a title.
Oh my god.
What? Who?
We've had some aggressive character introductions in this show.
This is all Schmidt. This is like young Schmidt.
Is it?
Yeah, must be.
I thought that was a new character.
Oh, there's the bloody coins.
Damn.
Yeah, probably not Schmidt then, yeah. Draka. Okay.
今私たちは集団で利益を分け合ってる。すると怠ける人が出てくる。分配を減らせば危機感から競争が加速する。そうすれば集団全体としてより良い結果が。その地図を頼りに我々は使えそうな布切れを安全に回収し、分業化された工程を経て新しい商品に生まれ変わらせ。お前の提案だったな。 おかげで以前のような危険な盗みや狩りをしなくて済む。村は十分に豊かになった。
If it ain't broke.
これ以上稼いでどうする?
Yeah, what's your goal?
お前は功労者だ。
Whoa.
共同貯蓄はいつでも貸すぞ。一体何に金が必要なのか知らん。
So afraid of death.
Right.
For such a young person, though, to be so afraid of death, that's odd.
Yeah. Maybe. I liberated it.
Wait, is this the person that was captured?
I believe so.
So this is not Novak, then?
No.
Yeah.
個人の自由競争で集団全体の利益を増やせるんじゃないかと思ったんだけど。競争を刺激するには我々は人数が。
Right, you'll create factions, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that this works right now is actually really impressive.
もしかしたら私は一生このままここで終わる運命なんじゃないか。
Maybe.
大丈夫だよ。お前には信念がある。
Alright, so why are we focusing on this person?
I'm guessing she's gonna find the book.
What?
Oh, because that's when the sun came up. Okay, yeah.
Whoa.
That's cool. We have someone else with a trigger based on the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's when she's mourning.
Yeah. The future.
All right.
Ignored, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Oh no, wait, this might have instilled her fear right here.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, damn. This is going to... Oh, shit. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh. Nice. Whoa.
Okay.
It's a little bit circular, yeah. Wow. He might have set her free and also given her the fear at the same time.
Right.
Conviction is extremely powerful.
Mm-hmm. And that's how she comes up with the, I need enough money.
Uh-huh. So that I don't die.
In order
like
to
he
get
did.
money. Yeah.
Money is now my god, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I mean, that's mostly true.
Wow.
All right.
Oh, the sky is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So is this how he gets captured?
Maybe. Ah, his storage. Okay.
Sure. Hey. It's not bad. Oh.
Well.
So you're stealing from me. Yeah, okay. Just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the whole reason that they were here. Damn. Just like that. The village. Oh,
Wow. And this is how she becomes an inquisitor.
shit. Oh.
Cool, so then we're back there.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's true.
He's talking with his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Only you're paying attention to the body language.
Mm-hmm.
What? Come on, read the signs there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, something to entrust to you, and she'll find it.
What a fun little coincidence here.
Yeah.
人々は底辺に貼り付けられた生活から解放される。この大地の運動、地動説。
Amazing.
Yeah.
間違いない。私は今、とんでもないものを見た。
Right, and she was primed by her uncle.
この感覚はもっと大きな何かを問うている。感じる。
I love how indirect this is.
この本で大稼ぎできる気配。
Sure.
大稼ぎするために広く。
Yep.
そもそも受け入れられるってなんだ。将来や死後のこととか、人は未知なものや不確かなものを恐れる。その救済として絶対的で揺るがない存在である神がいる。もしかしたら代わりになる不安の紛らわし方もあるんじゃ。成就するかわからない祈りよりもっと確実に娯楽で不安を紛らわせたとしたら、もし読者がその娯楽になれたら、この本で大稼ぎできるかも。
Roll credits.
考えを根底から変えるこの本を受け入れられるかもしれない。
Yeah,
生産はどうする。
that is the real question. Production and distribution.
いや、それだと手間がかかりすぎる。安全な時が来たら利益の1割をボトつきに切る。
Yeah.
Oh.
Awesome.
おじさん、聞いてよ。ちょっと面白いものを。
Yeah.
まあ確かにいい値はつくかもな。
Damn.
運命を変えるって。
Yeah.
私は生き延びるためなら何でもする。
Well,
All right.
shit. Here we go. All right.
Okay,
We've got
Draka.
a new character.
Yep.
Someone that's going to end up becoming an inquisitor.
Right.
Or at the very least, maybe even just...
She's gonna have the outfit.
She's going to have the outfit. Now, we know that Schmidt's crew also wears the same similar outfits and stuff.
Yep. So we'll have to see what happens there. But
Yeah.
okay, going into like the backstory for her like this, I like it. I was not expecting to get a new character and this in depth of an introduction to a new character right after we got Schmidt and his crew.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, so we could have then two focuses basically
Right.
concurrently going with each other for this next segment of the story.
And
They both have very specific beliefs or fears that are driving them.
Right. And the thing that I'm curious about is how the hook of the book, not to rhyme intentionally, but how that will progress given that she's getting taken by the church. She comes out saying, hey, I found this cool thing that's a book. Like, either she's not going to keep it or they're going to look at it probably and, you know, and then probably burn it or something.
I mean, it doesn't matter what they do with the book. The main point is that they are going to get it here. The point with regards to what's like a big deal about it is that people have read it. Both the focus character on one side and then a side character on the other side have read the book. So they found it. They know it exists. At the very least, I don't think that just because the book's been, you know,
confiscated or destroyed or
confiscated or destroyed or what have you means that it's, you know, automatically now just gone from things.
Sure, that is a good point. And to be fair, given that we opened this like new point in time with heretics being kept prisoner rather than executed,
right,
and heretical things being like kept, you know, in like under lock and key rather than just being destroyed, that might just be a change in church policy. So
yeah, and they're trying to see what they can glean from things there.
Yep.
Yeah, but okay, Draka's story is an interesting one. She is one who watched or basically found out about her father's death. He went to go thieve and got some money.
Yep.
And it's literally blood money. Comes like literally in a blood-soaked torn off
yeah.
rag of her father's, and then her well-meaning but very, very unique conversation with this guy leads to her casting off the, oh, I can't show my pain here because
then I'll be,
I'm showing that I'm doubting God, and that's
Right.
something that's inconvenient for the others here. And then he goes, hey, I'm going to teach you 3 things that are going to really just shape your entire life from here on out.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Now, it's kind of fun because she's just old enough to be able to kind of handle maybe some nuanced, complex topics.
Right, like it doesn't completely just like go in one ear and out the other that it might have if she was like, a few years younger.
Right. And so, any one of these individually, I think is actually like pretty helpful.
Sure.
For the most part. But it was more the fact that he just kind of dumped all this at a vulnerable point at once.
Yeah.
And basically then gave her the third one, even though he said, like, you'll figure it out eventually.
Right. He's
which
like...
is like, oh, you can get certainty and conviction and
right, but I'm also not going to...
Direction and...
Right, but I'm going to give you these 3 magic spells, but also I'm not going to give you the final one. And like it was something.
That was the final one.
No, I know, but it's the of course he can't actually give her conviction, right? But,
right. Yes.
But it was one of those things where it's like this almost feels like this dude was like processing some of his own shit, when he said all of that, because it's like you went way too deep, my guy. Like you didn't like there was an easier solution like right there.
Right, but his belief is that, he would be doing her a disservice if he gave her some kind of kind lie, basically, to try and alleviate this. But she's like, no, I'm being so dysfunctional in terms of processing my grief that I run away and I go to the spot that reminds me of where he was, where I was when I found out about his death.
Yeah.
And started crying here. And he's like, oh, like, first off, you got to throw off that whole God thing. Like, that's just not going to serve you well, just in this life. And this is coming from a survivor who's basically saying, hey, you're not doing well at the surviving thing right here.
Yeah.
Anyone can see that.
So, clearly something's got to change.
Something's got to change. And if you just don't process this, then you don't process this. But I think it was the idea that he then connected this to... basically like rational thought and thinking, which I think is good.
Yeah.
But he basically went through the whole the whole issue of when you have info given to you, which is the God's not real.
Right.
Cool. Then it tells you to think about it. Then it's then you go from there to conviction. You basically stop through all the parts where you could potentially be brought more in depth into a community, and you're teaching self-sufficiency, which I think is good from a survival standpoint.
Sure.
But it's not helpful in terms of what would make her actually rely on the other people of the village. So maybe, maybe it made her a performer and a contributor, but she doesn't seem to be somebody that's open to receiving much from the village.
Right. And that kind of makes sense because he was kind of that little bit of like, sort of an outcast from the village, by implication of like is this what they told you to say? Like, you're someone who I'll listen to. And so they're like, hey, go do this for us. Right.
Right.
But then also like, taking from the village later and all that stuff. But
yeah, he's kind of self-serving in just everything that we've seen of his character.
But the things that he told her, she took in, and it did help her a ton in a particular area.
Yeah.
But it completely ignored the thing that she was actually having trouble with at the time.
Yep. The fear is still there.
The fear is still there.
Yep.
The emotions, she hasn't been able to deal with them, right? Like, and hey, now it's worse, right? Like now it's actually something that is getting in the way of her own self-sufficiency, because while it is forcing her to then be a big contributor and all that stuff, it's actually like making her just sort of spin, rather than actually be able to go forth with conviction.
So this is the problem with conviction. and this is where I actually really think this was the one that was the most damning, and this is why I'm saying I think he missed the point in that if she took those two things, she would eventually find conviction. But by him telling her that it's conviction, he kind of didn't let her kind of go through the process naturally over the course of time.
Right.
He kind of skipped through it. Conviction is extremely effective at getting you to move, but is extremely bad, in my opinion, with regards to self-actualization.
Sure.
I think that if you have conviction, that's great. You're able to then actively do things because you are convicted of a thing. You are basically like...
you're sure.
You're certain about a thing. But certainty is in a lot of ways actually the enemy of rational thought. Like
you basically were like, God is not real.
And you can be
don't
certain
worry
of
about
that.
You can be certain of that. Oh, and then, hey, think for yourself. And then, oh, hey, go back to certainty. That's like pick your poison or your cake, my guy. Like,
right,
you know, like,
right. If you went for the, hey, you can be certain that no one will look out for you in the same way that you look out for yourself, so therefore you need to be self-sufficient, it'd be like, yeah, that's not always true, but it's a thing that can be generally helpful when you're in a survival mindset where you just need to be able to not die.
Right.
Yeah, sure. But eventually you got to learn that the only way really people survive the whole fear mind killer, thing is that you walk through the thing that is causing you the fear with somebody else. Almost all the time, the people that like move past their fears, they don't do so alone. You can do it alone. It is possible, but it is infinitely easier to do it with somebody else.
That's where, like, when, the whole idea of, like, the community, and that's why I love that she had the meeting with the elder of the village.
The chief, yeah.
Right, where he's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that probably would boost productivity and stuff. Yeah, but, oh, hey, it would also do this, right? It would, it would destroy our unity, things like that, right? Because...
well, that was actually what the other guy said, I believe.
Was it?
That was what the uncle said.
I don't know. There were two old guys in this three old guys in this episode, and it kind of blurred together.
Yeah, see, that was something that this guy said.
Oh,
he said that morals.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
Hang on, my guy.
Yeah, he's a hypocrite because he's going and stealing the wine basically for himself and building his own little stockpile here. Like, if anything, the other guy was kind of doing the, like, hey, why are you afraid? Like, share with me your fear.
Right.
Like,
if you need money, I can loan you some money.
Yeah, and she couldn't answer the question from this guy of, like, hey, why is it that you're actually, like, doing it there? But she avoided it.
Yeah, that's...
In a way, bringing back to the thing of what the other guy said, the uncle equivalent guy, saying that, hey, you shouldn't hide your emotions from other people. But then he taught her the means by which you would then end up hiding things and avoiding other people. Because you also are a guy that hides, at the very least, your activities from other people.
And like, I guess, since the guy's conviction is, I will cast aside all my convictions in order to survive, sure. That doesn't mean that he's going to be stupid. He's still going to understand the idea that we're communal creatures and that it really is in our own selfish best interest to help each other because, then we're able to actually survive better than if we're on our own.
Yep.
Right? And, it's just unfortunate in this particular situation that, one, you were caught by yourself. But then two, it was another bigger organization that then decides I'm going to fuck you over, right?
Yeah, and in that respect, it's kind of the, you're a victim of circumstance here and because this guy just decided that his survival is worth more than yours.
Right, and so, of course, that's then where he reverts to the, it's, my community's not here right now, and it wouldn't be able to help me even if it was. So, look out for number one. How do I do that? Okay. The fact that he specifically went to giving them her first, rather than being like, you could plunder the community. Well, I guess it's easier to sacrifice her and have the village not realize it than
because he doesn't really care about her.
Right, and he also wants to keep his position within the little village since they are taking care of him pretty well.
Yeah. It's a very simple basic kind of thing there.
I can get her to come out here and wait for them.
Right. She trusts me. It's easy.
Yep.
No problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, the questions basically that he ponders of, okay, or not he ponders, that he posits more to Draka of, hey, if, God's not real, if you don't have that certainty of things with regards to death, then you take and you question the things that you actually do have the capacity to interact with through your senses and through your mind. So there you go. You end up building and crafting a rational viewpoint of things where money seems to be the thing that people are willing to die for, especially my dad. So money is the thing that will actually give me the most security in this world. In a lot of ways, that's actually accurate.
Yeah,
that
it's pretty good.
Actually accurate. But then the fear twists and warps into the, I still haven't dealt with the underlying question of, why do people live and die? Why does anybody do anything with the risk of death?
Yeah, I haven't turned the rational thought internal and been like, hey, I'm scared right now. That makes me want to not necessarily behave rationally. Is there anything I can do about that? Because that's not helpful.
Well, yeah, that's why she's going after money, is because money will basically potentially cure the fear, because if she gets enough security, then she won't have to worry about that, right?
Right.
Yes, actually right. That's the problem with fear, and any kind of conviction surrounding fear is that it is based in accurate, somewhat truth. Like there is actually like somewhat something here that's rational. Is that someone who is born into a noble family or what have you is going to be afforded certain privileges because of money and family and all that stuff that you won't have. If you had enough money to be able to, I don't know, make a printing press or something. I don't know where this story's going, but the ED very much seemed to be focused on the printing press.
Right. So, like, I'm guessing she's going to get to a point where she's going to be able to do this thing that she just had the idea to do, even though right now she's in a big pickle.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things that they could be setting up here for the long-term like trajectory of Draka here. But for now, I'd love to see the Draka who has to face fear back in the the cult of the god believers.
Yeah.
And we, punish those who don't believe in God. And this is gonna be interesting.
Yep.
But
maybe she'll be able to like make it seem like her uncle is a heretic, and that's how she'll save herself, and then that's how she'll like end up like being actually brought into the church. I don't know. It's gonna be wild.
I think she's going to be brought in by, I would say, just the nature in that she's a young child, and they're going to end up basically trying to mold her in the same way that the uncle tried to, maybe with good intentions, help alleviate her fear, and
purchase her as a cool. You're now like a pawn of the church versus
a slave,
just
a servant, or what have you.
Or as opposed to the, all right, cool, yeah, we'll sell you to someone who will make you just their personal slave,
Oh, yeah, of course. That's totally on the table. But I think she's going to showcase her capacity to be a logical and well, thought out person.
And survive this new environment.
Yeah. And so that's just fun. But yeah, also the pivot from the previous episode to this one is pretty strong.
We kind of got 2 introduction episodes back to back.
So I'm guessing that we're going to continue the introductions in the next episode with following up on these characters and seeing where they'll be in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to be moving through a lot of time skips then. At least that'd be
probably, because she is definitely older in a lot of the scenes that we see her in the OP.
Or at least she definitely looks older.
Yeah.
I mean, her hair's cut, so that doesn't necessarily mean that she's older. But I mean, it's probably a little bit though.
Probably.
Yeah. But all right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You got an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. See if any of that interests you. We'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
Next time.